Hi, this is Dave. Today we're going to do some rust repair on this Chevy Silverado. This is my vehicle, and I noticed in wintertime we were starting to get some buckling paint, some rust. So as you can see, I ground the paint down about a month ago. And I realized there were rust holes coming through. So I really wasn't anticipating that. I thought it was just a paint and I was going to prime it up and repaint it. But the rust holes complicated it a little bit. So what we're going to do today is we're going to put a metal patch on there and weld it on. And we're going to do some body work, and basically I'll be showing you how I do it. And it's not always a rough job. Sometimes it's complicated. But you'll get the idea of, what you can do at home. Stand by. So we're going to start off I'm going to start grinding down the primer that I put on there to expose the bare metal of the truck, of the sheet metal. This is the rear quarter panel on a 2011 Chevy Silverado. But it would be the same work regardless what type of vehicle you use. So check the video out and maybe it can help you out. But as I said, we're going to start grinding the metal down, get it down to bare metal so we can actually see how big of a patch we're going to put on to cover the to cover the holes and weld it all up. And I'm going to do it in steps. I'm going to show you what I can, the easiest way that I'm going to do it, and it'll give you some ideas for repairing your own vehicle. Okay, so here we are. I'm ready to start sanding the primer off. What I have here is my DA air orbital sander. I got some 80 grit sandpaper on there. I don't need to go higher because I already actually had the paint sanded down, and I put primer on there for a couple weeks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. I'm going to start sanding the primer down to bare metal. In your case, it may be paint, it may be primer, but I'm going to start sanding it, and I'll cut in and out on the camera, so I don't want to have to run the video, like a 2-hour video. So I'll just fade in and out to show you the work that I'm starting to do. Okay, so as you can see, I sanded all the paint and primer off, and all we have is the bare metal. Now what it did is it shows us all the pit holes, the rust holes that is actually eating through the metal. So there's actual holes here going through. No matter what kind of body work you do, if you put Bondo on there, any kind of filler, prime and paint it, that moisture is all going to come back and it's going to rust right through your paint job again. So the only way to really repair it is to cut the metal out, all the soft metal. So you can see the pitting bad here. So what we're going to do is we're going to roughly cut the metal out, all the soft metal right there from the rusts. We're going to cut it out. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a patch panel on. I bought a patch panel that's made for this Chevy truck. And it's actually a lot bigger. It goes down to here, up and over. We're not going to put that whole thing on because our metal's all solid and we don't want to do more work in welding than we have to. So I'm going to actually mark off where I'm cutting, and I'm going to mark it off like on the truck. And I'm going to cut the new sheet metal. So it's only like an inch or so, inch and a half higher than all the rust. And the new patch panel will be roughly this area right here, all the way across. Is what we're gonna weld on, a new piece of metal, and I'll be showing you that in just a moment or two. Okay, so this is the patch panel that I ordered online. It's 18 gauge metal, sheet metal, and it's it fits exactly for this truck, for this wheel opening here. Now you can see the placement of it, you know, in size. When you hold it up, that's the exact fitting. And I marked the outline on the truck in pencil. It's very light, you can't really see it. I'll put a few more marks on here where the panel's at to give you a rough idea. And so it's off. You can see the actual size of the metal. It comes up here. It's way down here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the truck off, and then I'm going to mark the metal off to match the truck. And it's going to be someplace roughly in about this area. You know, when I'm ready to do it, of course, there's going to be clamps holding it in place, but it's going to be roughly somewhere in this area. And we're going to cut off all the excessive metal, and we're just going to work on the main spot where all the rusticles are. And we'll get to that in a moment. Okay, so the way I'm going to mark it for the sheet metal, so I'm going to use this. I got this blue tape here, painter's tape. I'm going to try to put a straight line on the truck, and what I'm going to do here, as you can see the original line that I put, I'm just going to run this down so I know where it's at, and you'll see what I mean in a couple minutes. And it shows me where I want to run the line. It's actually going to be roughly the size of where I want to run the sheet metal to, the new sheet metal. And because it'll be covered, I'm not going to be able to see it that good. So I'm putting this tape on right here, where when it's on there I can see the tape, and that's going to be my line, my guidance line. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about in just 1 second. Let me grab a couple of my scripts. And I have the patch panel right there. So what I'm going to do, put this up in place where we normally sit. I'm going to throw vice grip on it and one on this side to hold it in place while I'm marking it. Okay. Now you can kind of see how this fits, and you can see my tape markings where it's going to be. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the tape and I'm going to go over here to my blue marking way on the left side. I'm going to put the tape again. I'm going to line it up. I'm going to go just a tad higher, maybe a quarter of an inch higher than the line on that side. Now I'm going to pull it straight, go roughly a quarter of an inch higher than my other blue mark, because I wanted it just a tad higher. Let me take that down there. And we're going to go same thing here. There's the blue. It's going to line up with that blue mark. It's going to give us a basic framework of how far I want to go. And this blue tape here, that gives me the bottom line. I don't need to go any further down because the bad rust holes were up here. So this is all solid metal. I don't have to worry about welding and going further down. And I'll do the same for this side right here. And you can see the blue tape there, the line I have on there. So we're going to go even with that line. I'm not going to go further down for the same reason. That shows us. Now I'm going to cut this sheet metal. I'm going to cut it right at this blue line right here. All the way across. And this is going to be the patch. All this, the rest is going to be scrap metal. I'm not going to use it. I just need this main patch. So I'll show you in a few minutes how I'm going to cut it. You may have different ways, but we'll get to that. I'm going to take the panel off now and line it up on the bench and show you what we're going to do.